Most gardens produce food for about 4 months, plant in spring, harvest in summer, clean everything up in fall, and then spend the next 8 months buying food from the grocery store. That short harvest window feels normal because most gardens are designed that way. But it is not a natural limit. It is a planning problem. A garden that produces food every month of the year does not require a greenhouse, a homestead, or a warm climate. It requires a system. Fresh food from spring through fall, preserved food through winter, and perennial crops that fill the gaps between seasons. When those three pieces work together, every month of the year has food coming from your land. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact system I use to make that happen and how each season sets up the next. By the end, you'll see why year-round food production is less about growing constantly and more about planning continuously. The first season is winter, and this is where most gardeners make their biggest mistake. They treat winter as downtime. But winter is actually when the year-round garden begins. January and February are planning months. This is when you decide which crops will be eaten fresh and which crops will be grown specifically for preservation. That decision determines whether you have food in January next year. Winter is also when you inventory saved seeds, order new varieties, repair trellises, test irrigation systems, and prepare beds for spring. At the same time, you're eating the harvest from the previous year. Frozen tomatoes become soups and sauces. Stored onions and garlic go into daily meals. Frozen peppers and beans appear in stir-fries. Winter squash is still coming out of storage. Nothing may be growing outside, but garden food is still feeding the household every day. Spring is when fresh production begins. Perennial herbs are usually the first harvest of the year. Chives, thyme, rosemary, and oregano wake up long before most vegetables. As soon as soil can be worked, cool season crops go into the ground. Lettuce, spinach, peas, carrots, radishes, beets, and kale all thrive in cool weather. By April, fresh harvests begin. Lettuce is producing cut-and-come-again leaves, radishes are ready, spinach is harvestable, strawberries begin flowering in warmer zones. Meanwhile, tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants are growing indoors waiting for warm soil. By May, the garden enters transition mode. Warm season crops replace spring crops as they finish. Tomatoes, peppers, beans, cucumbers, and squash move into the beds. Every empty space is replanted immediately. Nothing sits idle. Spring is not just producing food, it is building the infrastructure for the most productive months of the year. One thing that separates year-round gardens from ordinary gardens is that productive gardeners are always planting while they are harvesting. Most people think planting season ends once the beds are full. In reality, the most productive gardens never stop planting. As soon as radishes come out, beans go in. As soon as spinach bolts, cucumbers take its place. Empty space is the enemy of year-round production because every empty week is food that could have been growing. I learned this lesson the hard way during my first season. I would harvest a crop and then leave the bed empty for 2 or 3 weeks while deciding what to grow next. Those small gaps added up quickly. By the end of the season, entire months of potential production had been lost simply because I was not planning transitions ahead of time. Now I keep the next crop ready before the current crop finishes. The replacement is planned before the space becomes available. That one habit dramatically increased the amount of food produced from the exact same garden footprint. The secret to year-round gardening is not necessarily more space. It is keeping the space you already have working continuously. Summer is where the system explodes. Tomatoes begin ripening. Peppers start producing heavily. Cucumbers, beans, zucchini, and herbs are often producing faster than most families can eat them. Berry bushes fill the gap between spring and peak vegetable season. This is also when preservation becomes critical. Summer surplus is winter food arriving early. Extra tomatoes are frozen or canned, beans are blanched and frozen, peppers are sliced and stored, herbs are dried or frozen into cubes. Every pound preserved in July and August becomes food available in December and January. But summer is also when you begin planning fall. This is where many gardeners fail. They focus entirely on harvesting and forget to plant. By August, fall crops should already be going into the ground. Lettuce, spinach, kale, Arugula and radishes are planted while summer crops are still producing. That overlap is what extends fresh harvests far beyond summer. Summer is also when the garden creates most of its future resilience. Every season, there are a few crops that clearly outperform the others. Maybe one tomato handles heat better. Maybe one lettuce variety resists bolting longer. Maybe one bean variety produces twice as much food from the same row. This is the time to identify those winners and save seeds from them. While many gardeners focus only on harvesting, the most self-sustaining gardens are already preparing next year's seed supply. A single overripe tomato can provide enough seed for dozens of future plants. A handful of dried bean pods can provide next year's entire planting. Over time, those saved seeds become increasingly adapted to your specific climate, soil, and growing conditions. That means every season is not only producing food for today, but also improving the performance of future harvests. The garden begins compounding in multiple ways at once, through preserved food, through improved soil, and through locally adapted seed stock that gets stronger year after year. Fall and early winter are where the system comes together. September and October bring apples, pears, winter squash, and the final waves of tomatoes and peppers. Fall greens begin producing heavily. In many climates, lettuce, spinach, kale, and arugula actually perform better in fall than they do in spring because cooler temperatures reduce bolting. Garlic is planted for next year's harvest. Cover crops protect and improve any finished beds. As temperatures drop, row covers and cold frames keep greens producing longer. By November and December, fresh harvests slow down, but they do not disappear entirely. Kale often becomes sweeter after frost. Herbs may continue producing in milder climates, and now the preserved harvest takes over. Frozen vegetables, canned tomatoes, stored onions, garlic, winter squash, dried herbs, and preserved fruits become the backbone of winter meals, and that is the secret to producing food every month of the year, not 12 months of active growing. Very few climates can support that. Instead, it is 12 months of intentional food production. Spring produces fresh food, summer creates abundance, fall extends harvests and prepares storage, winter consumes the surplus while planning the next cycle, each season supports the next. Miss one stage and the chain breaks, follow the sequence and the garden never truly stops producing. By the third year of following this system, we had garden-produced food on the table during every month of the calendar year. Not enough to eliminate grocery shopping entirely, but enough that every meal contained something grown, harvested, preserved, or stored from our own land. That is what a year-round garden actually looks like. Not constant planting, not constant harvesting. Just a simple seasonal system that keeps food flowing from one month to the next. If you want to build true food security in a backyard, this is where it starts. Not with a bigger garden, not with expensive equipment, but with a plan that treats every month as part of the harvest.